Hi, everybody. Today we are talking about the stages of change. The stages of change are really important to understand when attempting behavior change because it helps you to understand exactly where you are with each habit in your life. There's some habits that you might not be ready to make a change with yet, or you've already gone farther down the stage of change process where you don't really need help with it anymore. So this will help you to understand which areas of your life you're really ready to make a change in. To make this a little bit easier to understand, I'm going to be using an example of something that I'm currently wanting to work on changing. I'm doing this program with you, and that is journal writing. Journal writing is something that I've always thought is really important, but I've never been good at being consistent about. So the first stage of change is pre-contemplation. People who are in this stage of change aren't planning on really making any change in the next 6 months. And there's a few different reasons why you might be in this stage of change with one of your habits. But one reason is if you're not aware of the consequences of your behavior. If you don't know why it would be a good thing or benefit you to change your behavior, then why put in the effort to make that change? Or if you don't realize or see the cons of that behavior, the negative consequences to you or to others because of your behavior, then you wouldn't have any motivation to stop a habit or to start a new one to avoid those negative consequences. Another reason why you could be in this stage of change is if you've tried to make this change before and it hasn't worked out, you felt like you failed. It can be hard to try again at something that you haven't done well with in the past. I feel like for me, with journal writing, I'm kind of in that reason, for that reason, I've kind of been in the pre-contemplation stage for the last year or so because I've tried really hard in the past to be good at journal writing and I've just never been consistent. So if you want to move from this stage to the next stage of change, it's good to learn about the pros and cons of your behavior and also to increase your confidence that you'll be able to make this change. One way that you can increase your confidence that you'll be able to make the change is if you look and find other people that you have things in common with that are currently successfully doing the thing that you would like to do. So for example, my little sister is awesome at journal writing. We're in pretty similar stages of life right now. We have a lot in common. I really look up to her a lot. And because of that, I can look to her as somebody who provides an example of how to successfully journal write and helps me feel like, you know what, maybe I can do that because I'm a lot like her and I want to be more like her. And another way that you can increase your confidence is to break down the habit into some more doable steps. So for me, it's very overwhelming to think about all of the time that I need to catch up on in my journal. It's like, oh man, if I sit down and write today, I'm going to have to write about the last 3 years that I haven't written about. So if I think about it like that, it's really overwhelming. But if I break it down and I think, you know what, I just have to write one line about today, that's a little bit more doable, and that increases my confidence that I'll be able to be successful. The next stage is contemplation. So this is if you're planning on making a change within the next 1 to 6 months, but just not today, not right now. And the people who are in this stage have gone past pre-contemplation. So they know the pros and cons, they know why they should change and why they may want to change. And there's something that's keeping them from actually preparing to change and make that change right now. This could be stress. You could have a ton going on in your life, a big life event. There could be something traumatic that you're dealing with, or you might just not have the materials that you need. So for the journal writing example, it could be something as simple as not actually having a journal and needing to go buy one. Or it could be something like if I'm really busy and I literally have 0 time in the day and I just feel like I cannot handle adding that one thing to my life right now. Something that you can do to help you move from the contemplation stage to the next stage is to make a list of the things that need to happen before you can actually make this behavior change. So in my example, I could write down, I need to buy this journal, this is where I can get it from, or I need to be able to make some time in my day. So these are the things I need to cut out or get done before I feel like I can start working on my behavior change journal writing goal. The next stage is the preparation stage. In the preparation stage, you're planning on making an actual change in the next month or the immediate future. So in this stage, you will have actually taken steps that are leading you closer to actually making the habit change in your life. So for example, in stage 2, talked about if you want to move from stage 2 to stage 3, you need to identify what's keeping you from starting this behavior. So for the journal writing example, I said that maybe I don't have a journal, or maybe there's something that's stressing me out too much in life to let me even think about starting my goal of journal writing. And so in stage 3, I will have actually started to eliminate some of that stress or buy a journal. Another important part of stage 3 is making an actual outline of what your habit change is going to look like and how you're going to implement it in your life. So you're really just preparing your life, getting everything set up so that you are in a good spot to make this behavior change. If you want to move on to the next stage, which is action, then you need to, of course, start acting. So are looking at stage 4, that's where you have actually made conscious efforts to perform your new actions. You're actively working on changing your behavior, but you don't have to be perfect. So for the journal writing example, this is if I am really trying every day to write at least one line in my journal, and I don't have to be perfect at it. There's some days when I could miss or forget, but this stage is when I'm really mostly consistent. So if I'm only doing like one day a week, or I'll do it here, do it there, and it's not really a consistent thing in my life, that's really still part of the preparation stage. To be in the action stage, you have to be going for it, doing your best, and being successful most of the time. And this stage can last for about 1 to 6 months, which is about the time it takes for a habit to really stick in your life. And then to move on to the next stage, you have to work on keeping it even much more consistent that you don't even think about it anymore. So the last stage is the maintenance stage, and that is where your new habit is created or your old one is destroyed. You've done it for 6 months or more, and you're still actively working on or doing the habit, but it's become a consistent part of your life. It's almost not even conscious. You don't have to think about it. It's like, oh, of course I'm going to journal write today. I pull my journal out without it being a big effort or a difficulty. So this stage can last for 6 months to 5 years, and really, I like to say that it lasts forever. Now, you're planning on continuing this habit for the rest of your life. It's a lifestyle change, at least most of the time. There might be some habits that have a time limit on it. So the official definition, 6 months to 5 years, but I really think maintenance is something we should be actively working on and looking at for the rest of our lives. So let's talk about today's practice challenge. So I'm going to ask you to read through the list of habits that you made last time that you feel like would be a good thing for you to implement to reach your goal. If you remember, I'm sure you do, last time we made a list of your ideal life or what you want your life to look like. So, and then the habits that you could follow to achieve that life. So read through that and then choose 2 to 3 of those habits that are in the contemplation stage and 2 to 3 habits that are in the preparation stages of change. This is helping you identify some habits that you could use for this challenge that you are in a good place to start working on right now. And then I'm going to have you write down each of those habits and why you think they're in the contemplation and preparation stages. And if you're meeting with me one-on-one next week, we'll talk a little bit more about those habits, and I'll help you decide a little bit more about what would be a great one for you to choose for this challenge. And you may already know exactly what you want to work on, and that's great. So this is just to help you brainstorm if you haven't quite decided yet. As always, if you have any questions, then feel free to email me, and also feel free to watch through this video again if you need a refresher on what the pre-contemplation and contemplation stages are. Awesome, have a great couple of days, and I'll send you another video on Friday.